Hi, I'm Pete Brown from Clevertouch. We're a leader in enterprise touchscreen and UC solutions. Today I'm going to show you our new multi-purpose interactive panel, the UX Pro. We've been making interactive displays for 11 years now, since 2009. As technology has been changing, we've been gradually making these panels better and better all the time with software updates, with firmware updates. We realised that what needed to happen was the panels need to catch up with us, so the hardware had to get better. So in February this year, we released the UX Pro. It's slimmer, it's lighter, it's nicer to look at. So you can actually put it in meeting rooms, boardrooms, training rooms, and it fits in well. It's quicker than before. It's got a quicker chipset on there, so it does things a lot quicker, it's more precise. I also find when I'm doing demonstrations, a lot of people will say to me, how do you switch it on, how do you switch it off? And the button to turn it on and off is always in an awkward place, like underneath or to the side. So what we've done is we've added a motion sensor. When you walk in the room, it automatically switches on. When you leave the room after a set period, it will just switch itself off. So it makes it more economical as well, so you're not leaving this panel sitting on all day when you're not using it. We've added in an integrated microphone, so we have a mic in the top bezel of the panel. We looked at adding cameras into this, but we realised that there's different environments, different sizes of rooms, so you can fit any type of camera onto this and just plug it straight into the panel itself. We added on extra audio, so we've always had dual speakers in there, 15-watt speakers. A lot of people wanted a more rounded sound, so they'd add sound bars and things like that onto it. So we did that ourselves. We put in there a subwoofer, another 15 watts, so you've got 45 watts of audio that gives a real good sound to the panel. We've added additional inputs. You want to plug things into the screen, there's more inputs to do that. We have two modes to the panel. We have what we call tablet mode, which is meant for just walking up to the panel and using without any device at all. You've not got your laptop in front of you, you just want to use it from there. We've also got things like digital signage. We have, this is a template of digital signage. And within the digital signage itself, you can have videos playing, you can have introduction to companies, people coming to your building. It can be anything really. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about that later. I'm going to get one of my colleagues to come on and go into the digital signage a little bit more at the end of this presentation. But we'll have a look at this. And let's see, we've got two modes to this. We've got the tablet mode we've got here. We've also got a PC mode, a slot-in PC that you can go into the side of the panel, which will give you a lot more, like if I want to do a video call. I want to talk to my server, I want to do other things. But this part of it here is just for walking in the room and just using the panel itself. We've tried to make it easier. We used to have a side toolbar that you would press, and the menu that everything the panel does would appear, which was too much information. If you're using this panel once a week, once a fortnight, you're going to forget to use it. So we broke it down into three different boxes. The first box is just for setting it up. I want to stick it on the network, I want to get this thing set up. But as a user, you could walk in the room, that'll probably be set up already, so I can forget about that. Don't have to use that. The second one are the inputs. This is showing you that I've got HDMI 1, HDMI 2, all these different things. We've got new things on here, for instance, we've got Usbc, which is the new connector you'll find on your iPad Pro, for instance, your Mac. I've got it on my new PC. We've also got volume control in here. In the volume control, you can take control of the audio, set it before you start. We can also name these inputs. It doesn't have to say HDMI. What's an HDMI? So you can call it laptop, you can call it whatever you want it to be, VC. What we found is a lot of people were using control system button panels alongside the touch panel. And what we're doing with that is we're turning it on, they were turning it off, they were changing the inputs and changing the volume. Now we can do all these things from this panel now, so this is like a control panel for there. Plus we've got the motion sensor that turns it on and off, so you don't have to think about all these different things in this additional part that you don't really need. But if I came along with my laptop and plugged it in, what I would do is auto switch to the screen, so suddenly your image of your laptop would appear on the screen. So I don't have to actually press that button to say I'm connected. So half the time I don't have to think about that either. So as a presenter walking in the room, I want to present, so I go into the present section. This part here are favourites, which I'll talk about later on. But the three main things you're going to use are your browser, the file section, and the whiteboard. The browser is just a browser. You go into there, they'll take you to Google, and you press that, big keyboard comes up, you can type where you want it to go to. When you go into anything at all, and you'll find there is a little floating toolbar. If I'm across the other side of the panel, 2 fingers on the screen for 2 seconds, it appears over there. So you can take it wherever you want it to be. I could be up here working on something, do that. The reason I'm showing you this is, first of all, the first button you'll find on here is the home button. You're not going to get lost in this thing. It's going to be a case of wherever you are in the panel, that's always going to be there. I could be in a PowerPoint, I could be in an Excel document, I could be in anything at all. Your browser, press that, you're back into the home page again. We've then got the file section. The file section is an area where you can have lots of content on the screen. The panel itself has 32 gigabit storage on it, so it's a cross between a big tablet and a big telly on the wall. So you can put content on there. If you just want to walk in the room, have no laptop, no device at all, and your content's there, walk in, open up presentations and just show it. You can also get content in different ways to the screen. I can walk in with a USB stick, for instance. In the side of the panel in the bottom corner, there's a couple of USB inputs. I could plug that in there. That appears there as USB disk, and then has all my content on my USB stick. But we do find occasionally people say to us, I can't use USBs. So don't need them. Because there's other ways of getting content to the screen as well. We can actually use a cloud drive. So if you're used to using, for instance, Google Drive or OneDrive, I find a lot of people have these things and they don't use them as much as they should really. And I think it's gradually coming in there with Office 365. You'll get OneDrive as standard, for instance. So what I've done is I've actually logged into it. It's a case of just logging in the username and password as you would in your laptop on the screen. I've logged in here and you'll find that all my documents appear there as well. So there's different ways of getting content there. I'll come back to this in a minute and show you what you can do with some of these things. But the third part on the presenter mode is the whiteboard. The whiteboard is very simple. We understand that a lot of people are using flip charts, bits of paper and pens. And it's got to be simple as that. So what we've decided to do is make it as simple as that. So the toolbar is very clean. We have a pen, which is like a pen. A lot of these other interactive displays, and ourselves before, would make a pen like a big marker pen or a big crayon. It was difficult to write with. This is really easy. It's just the size of a pencil. Within here, you've got a thin end and you've got a thick end. And what you can do is you can allocate 2 colours to the pen itself. So I can go in here and I can say, well, on one side I'm going to be red, other side I'm going to be blue. So I could be drawing in blue, and I turn over the pen, and suddenly drawing in red. It's multi-touch as well, so I could be doing 2 things. Or you could have 2 people side by side drawing on the panel. But I can do more than write on here. I can add images and documents, whatever, into the whiteboard as well. It has other things as well. We've got maths tools, we have shapes you can put into there, circles and squares, and put some sort of template together. You can create it from there, from the shapes. But the handwritten recognition, which is A here, I can write, for instance, my name, and it'll turn into text. As simple as that. What I can also do is add other things into here. So for instance, if I wanted to add an image into here, it would take me to where my cloud drive was, or the storage, and if I had my USB stick that I threw away, it would show there as well. So I can go into there and just choose an image that I want to put into the whiteboard. I'll press that, and suddenly we have this in here as well, which I can make smaller, I can move about, I can do what I want with it from there. So it's really simple to do that. What I can also do is, like I'm using a flip chart, I can add a page. So here I press the plus in the bottom corner here, and now I'm adding another page, add a page that I can do lots of things on there. I can toggle through the pages if I wanted to, back and forward, but if I actually press the page itself, they come up at the side, and easily I can jump from page to page. We find that a lot of people like that. You can add a page, but some people said, good idea if you could have an endless whiteboard. So we thought, that's a good idea. So we added this hand into the toolbar. And this hand allows you to just move things along or move things up. It's an endless whiteboard, so you can move it along and then continue to do whatever you're doing on the panel itself, and then continue to move it, and continue to move it. And obviously if I did that, the picture I had is away across here. So if I press the hand again, it gives me a radar view of what I've done there. And I can press that to any point within there. In actual fact, what I can do is I can bring it all together as one and show what I've been working on. Obviously, we're in strange times right now, and I'm talking about touch panels, and people are scared of touching things. So it's a case of what we've looked at is the technology we have in here is actually allowing us to actually make it very safe. So one of the things I could do is I could be using the pen to control everything in here. So I'm not particularly touching the screen itself. But what I could also do is I could potentially, let's see that this works, get this on my hand first time, I could wear a glove. I could wear a glove and I could just be doing all the different things that I was doing before and draw onto the panel. So it can be very safe. Hopefully we'll not be using that forever, but it's something we can use right now. And you don't have to particularly use this pen, you can use any stylus on the panel itself. So, that's the basics of the whiteboard. But what you can do, in actual fact, what you can do beyond there is you can actually save this content. If you want to save the content, there's multiple ways of saving that as well. The first way of saving it is we have a QR code on the panel. And this QR code, you can make it big. You could have a room full of people. And if their devices are on the same network as the screen itself, they can just take out their phone or tablet and they can bring it across, go into the camera, and that will then scan what I've just been working on, and it will show exactly what I've just done there. So from there, you can either just save it for yourself or you email it to people, turn it into a PDF, do what you want with it, really. You can also save this by putting an email address on the screen. So in here, I could press send email. The big body of an email would come up and it would show you exactly what you're going to be sending out. You type who you want it to go to, press send, and then you'll receive those 2 pages I've just put together a second ago. We can also save it other ways. We can save it in a way that we want to save it as different formats. One of the most important ways is IWB. IWB is Interactive Whiteboard. So what I can do is I can save this as a live session. So I could start something one day, save it into there to my cloud, to my Usbc, to the internal content of the screen, and then come back the following day, press a button, it's back there again. And I've done that actually. Yesterday I put something together, I saved it into my cloud, and I can go back into my cloud and find that session. So in the file section, I'm on the cloud, I've saved it as UX Pro Demo. If I bring this up now, ta-da! This shows what I've put together. Now, one of the things I can do with this is I can capture lots of things into the whiteboard. I can capture from anywhere. So I've captured here at the moment from an image, I've got PDFs, whatever else, but say for instance I wanted to go into a PowerPoint, what I can do is I can open up my PowerPoint, and here I am now. One thing I've got with this, I've got inking tools, so I can ink into the presentation itself. And say I wanted to capture that, I could save that. It's obviously embedded that into my presentation. If I want to capture and put it into the whiteboard, as I did a second ago, as you saw on that page, I can just use this toolbar. And within here I have a snipping tool. This snipping tool will allow me to capture the whole page if I wanted to, or a particular part of that. And I could save that, and that would take it directly into my whiteboard. And as you can see, I can then move that about and put it into position and create whatever I'm creating. So this can all be done from anywhere. The capturing tool can capture from a video, from a browser, from a PDF, Excel, Word, PowerPoint, anywhere. So I've actually got images, I've got PDFs, I've got a video here, and I've just done a PowerPoint a second ago. What's also good about the whiteboard is you can change the background. It doesn't have to be a whiteboard. It can be different colours. You could customise it to look like, I don't know, a football pitch, lines, whatever you want to do. But what you can also do is you can put customised backgrounds in there. So it doesn't have to be just a whiteboard, like I said. So you can stick in, I don't know, there's a map that I can put in there. So one of the things we did recently is we had a production company, a manufacturer, who wanted to have what they had in the hallway was a big production board, a big whiteboard that did mark things on. So we put together with them, they can actually put this production schedule as the background of the whiteboard. And within there, they could then be marking their information into the whiteboard and then saving that, email it to themselves. QR code, do all these different things from there. So it's very simple to do that kind of thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to look at different things like, I've been using all these different things on the panel, but one thing I would like to say first of all, the favourites. I was going to talk about the favourites. The favourites are, for instance, if you've got multiple panels in different rooms and different buildings, different places, and there's a lot of them, you want to manage these. So our panels come with a 5-year on-site warranty, and we've also got a 5-year license that comes with management tools. So these management tools allow you to check the status of the panel. Is it on? Is it off? Take control of the panel. So if someone phones and says it's not working properly, I don't know what I'm doing, from your desktop you can be taking control of the panel. You can also view the whole. We have showrooms throughout the country. We can check the status of the panels in all these locations. So this software, as I say, comes free with the panel for that 5-year period. If, for instance, I've gone into documents and I've opened up my PowerPoints and I've opened up my PDFs and I've done all these different things, looked at images, I've downloaded certain content from the browser, I've been doing various things, and I don't want to leave that behind for the next person to see when they walk in the room. What we've also added in here, and I've put it into the favourites here, is an end of meeting button. The end of meeting button allows you to basically get rid of everything. So you could press that button. I'm not going to do it now because it's going to disconnect everything, but if I press that now, that could potentially get rid of my cloud account, the email address, anything I've downloaded. It would close all the programs I've opened up as well. So it makes you confident, the fact that you're not leaving anything behind on the panel. And then finally on here, we found the panel does it a lot, and a lot of people will say to us, can we get some sort of crib sheet that we can put on the wall? The problem with that is one of the things we do with the panel is we have updates that come probably every, I don't know, there's probably about three a year, something like that. And within these updates, you're going to get new features, like, for instance, the handwritten recognition and the endless whiteboard were updates that happened whenever they happened recently. So if you've got a crib sheet on the wall, it's going to be out of date pretty quickly. So what we've done is we've actually put an online crib sheet on our website. And AppCompress is getting started. It'll take you to a website. You select the panel you want to use. You look at the getting started bit, and it gives you information on how to use this panel and how you can actually tips, just little tips how to actually use it. I don't know, for instance, plug in your USB, how to open up my files. It'll tell you all these different things. So if I've shown you all these different things on the panel, looked at all the different favorites, looked at the cloud. I've never once actually thought about my own device, a laptop. So what I could do now is I can actually walk in with my laptop and I can do the thing about plugging a cable in. And when I plug a cable in, it'll obviously bring the image up on the screen and I'll be able to touch the screen and move things about from there. But I might want to do it wirelessly. So I don't know if you've noticed this number at the top here, it's been there the whole time. This is a thing called Clevershare. And what Clevershare is a way of wirelessly caching. We've got a link to it here, a mirror button. You can download from clevertouch.com/Clevershare2G an app that will go onto your PC, your Mac, your Chromebook. You can go to the app stores and download it on conventional app stores to your phone, to your tablets. But all I do is if I want to actually connect to the screen, I have the app on my laptop here. If I open up the app, all I've got, it comes up, are 6 lines. And I've got 6 numbers. I just type in that number, 003727, 003727, and it just asks you to connect. So I press the button, it says connect. Ta-da, I'm up on the screen. Simple as that. Now what you can do is you can actually have up to 30, probably beyond 30 people can connect. So in an environment where you would normally walk in there and you'd all sit down to have a meeting, you all want to present something, you're only slinging a cable across the next person to plug in. With this, you can all log into there and one by one, start mirroring to the screen and you're up on there. You can actually have more than one on the screen. You can actually have a quad mode on the screen, you have a dual side by side. I could walk in, for instance, with my iPad and I could use the app that's on here to connect to the screen. So I could walk in and it looks identical to what I'd find on the PC, but it gives you a few more options. It gives you the option of playing media. I went to Spotify in the room when I'm sitting there myself. I want to walk in and use a camera. So rather than a document camera, I can use my phone or my tablet just to look over a document and it would appear up on the screen. It's got a remote on there. So remotes, like for instance, if you're used to using laser pointers, then you could use this and use your phone to be the pointer on the screen. I can put images up on the screen. So I can stick up any type of photo. Here's a photo of me. I'm singing there, fantastic. But the other option you've got on here is a thing called Desktop Sync. And what Desktop Sync is, if for instance, you're across the other side of the room and you have your iPad, you can press Desktop Sync and this will actually mirror back to your tablet. So if you can't quite see the screen, you could be watching it on here. But what's good about that, it's not just actually casting it back to there, it's giving you full control of the screen. So you could be drawing on here and it's coming up here, you could be drawing on there and it's going back the opposite way. But you could also be controlling the panel, so you could be changing what the panel looks like, what it does, and how you control it. So this is something, again, when we're all worrying about touching things and whatever else, in the meantime, you could be controlling the panel from a tablet. But it also means different people can collaborate together on this. We've also got, a dongle. Now this dongle is another way of wirelessly casting to the screen. What I would say is that the Clever meshes I was using a second, or Clevershare I was using a second ago, sorry, you have to be on the same network on your device as the screen is. With this, you don't need to be. You could walk in the room and you could be on, your laptop could be on the guest network, the screen could be on your corporate network. And what this does, this doesn't communicate with the networks itself. The panel has a hotspot inbuilt into the screen and it talks to that. So you could be on no network and it would still talk to the hotspot. So all I do with this is it's USB-C, so it's that new connector I was talking about. I could walk in here, I could plug it into my laptop. It takes 2 or 3 seconds just to flash away to get it connected. There's no software loaded. So basically all it's doing is saying I'm connected to the screen, and then I press it and I appear on the screen. One thing I didn't see when I was showing the Clevershare through the app itself is once you're connected wirelessly, you can actually use touch on the screen, likewise with the dongle. So it's a good little product that comes alongside it. So a couple of other things we're looking at the moment is if I move away from what I'm doing on the tablet mode and I'm looking more at the PC side of it, we have a couple of bundles we're doing at the moment. Obviously, everybody wants to do some sort of video calling now, especially, again, where we are right now. And a lot of people have been using Zoom over the last 6 months, sitting in their house doing quizzes and whatever else with their friends. Well, Zoom Rooms is more a professional type version of Zoom. So we put a package together, a bundle together, which will allow you to use the Clevertouch panel, plus we've thrown in a camera and the Jabra camera in there as well, and we'll have the slot and PC on the side. So it's one endpoint in the room. You walk in the room, the motion sensor will sense you, switch on the panel, and you can make a Zoom call. As simple as that. So that's a product we're doing a bundle of now. Again, if you want more information on this, we could do a full demonstration of how this works for you. Like everything I'm showing you, I'm just really touching on today, but if you want a little bit more information, we can demonstrate more. The other thing we're finding is that not everybody's just using Zoom. They may be using Teams or Starleaf or WebEx or whatever else. So when you've got all these different things you're using, you want to make it simple for people to access these things. So we have an option with the Clevertouch to have a launcher bundle. So with the launcher bundle, again, it comes with a camera involved with theirs attached to it as well with the Jabra camera, with the PC slotted in, but also has this kiosk mode on the panel. So you can walk in there and you could be potentially walk in the room, press Teams, it opens up Teams, you make your Teams call. You could just walk in there and say, I want to make a WebEx call. Press WebEx, it starts your call. It's as simple as that. So it's an additional product that we actually put in there, but it's a bundle that would be worthwhile looking at. And again, it's something if you want to know a little bit more about, then give us a shout, we can do a little demonstration for you. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to show you a bit of software that is similar to this, but works in a slightly different way. We have a software that you get licensed with the panel called Signage. Now what Signage is although it's a video calling solution, it focuses mainly on the whiteboard. So it's been designed for a touch panel. So what I'm going to do is I've actually got my colleague James Miller, who is 20 miles away from here in his house, and he's going to get involved now. So what I'll do is I'll start this session here with Signage, and James can join magically from his house, and I can accept him into the call, and then what can happen is we can collaborate back and forth. So as you see, aha, James has joined. So I can accept James into there. Then what I can do is I can go into my computer, I can download what I do as a UX Pro document. So I've opened up that and download whatever I want into there and put it into here. So if I then bring in this, James can then write in it from his house. Oh, magic. Just like that. Now what can happen is we've got a two-way conversation happening now, so potentially what I could do is I could be moving this about, and the good thing about this is, and it doesn't happen with all these types of bits of software, is that the annotation moves with the document itself. And James in his house, if he wanted to put an image or a document or something himself, he could also put that. So if he wanted to insert something in this space, James, any second now, ta-da, keep it down, put that in there. Now from here, I can manipulate that if I wanted to, move it all about. I can also, if I wanted to draw on that, I could be drawing on that. Simple as that. So it's a two-way conversation. You can do all the things you can do, and he's still drawing on it, as you can see. You can do all the things. We've not joined over video, but we can. We can join in an audio call if we want to. So we can actually do all the things, and we can, beyond the whiteboard, we can share our desktop. We can also go into gallery mode and show, as you would see on your Zoom and Teams and different videos of people just having a video call. We can do all these things as well from this. So again, if you want to learn a little bit more about that, well, again, I've just touched on what it does, but it shows how powerful it is, the fact that we can do this where he is not in the room. So that is stage. And then what I'm now going to do is I'm going to pass over to James. I'm going to get James involved in this. As I said at the start, we have digital signage. And there's James. Hello, James. We actually have digital signage built into the panel. Now, James is going to do a little demonstration of what this is, how easy it is to use, and then I'll step back and let me show you.
Yeah, thanks, Pete. So basically, we have a cloud-based signage called Clevermessage that's integrated with every single Clevertouch that you use. Because it's cloud-based, as he said earlier, I am based 20 miles away, so I can actually control anything that's going on Peter's screen in our showroom 20 miles away, and also my screen just behind me. So it's nice and easy to change. I can do them from absolutely anywhere. All you need is a browser. The system is fully template-based. So the idea is we insert a logo. The logo, like in this instance, Clevertouch is blue. It will take the color scheme and try and match that to the template. So as you can see from both of mine and Peter's templates, it is like a blue color that it's finding. All the templates, because they are templates, you don't need to have like a design degree in order to create them. We've done all that hard work. All you would need to do is find the template that you want, have your logo and stuff inserted, put the text that you want in there if there is text. If there isn't, if you want a video or pictures and things like that, you just insert them in from there. So I'm going to show you just a couple of examples for now. Basically, the first one that we want to start with is something that's kind of close to a lot of people's thoughts at the minute, and it's kind of health related. So I'm going to actually assign that to both of these two screens at once. So you see both of our screens are loading, and this is just like a guidelines template that we have kind of created. So obviously at the minute, what we get a lot of the times is, why would I use, digital signage within a meeting space? What's the point? Well, this is definitely one of them, that especially at the minute, you want people to not only get the guidance and all the health things right when they're walking into the room, but also when they're in the meeting space as well. So it just allows you to have that extra little reminder just to say, right, please follow these guidances and everyone's going to remain as safe as humanly possible. So again, that's one of the really good things that you can do with there. The other options that you've potentially got, a lot of places like to have things like Sky News and things on in the background. So you can actually stream Sky News straight from YouTube and have that playing on the screen. So I'll play that on my screen behind me. So again, while that's streaming away, what we could also do is we could have potentially room booking. So actually I'll put a room booking template on Peter's screen. Again, what that will allow you to do is show different ways that the screen can be used. So actually it doesn't have to be traditional digital signage. You could have it so that when we walk in, we can see all the meetings that are on. So you can see there at 12 o'clock, there is a sales meeting taking in this room. Okay. And you see there's a big green room is free button. So the idea is someone peeks the head in, sees that the room is free, they can use this room. This will then book via 365 or Outlook, and it will then turn red. And then when you finish, you can end this session and the calendar will automatically update, and then everyone knows that it's free. But you might not want YouTube. You might just want standard digital signage that we had before. Hopefully this whole health thing isn't going to last forever. So there are other examples that you can do. So for example, if I put one on mine and another one on Peter's, again, there are different ways that you can do it. You can either have it full screen, you can have it half screen, you could have it, full videos, full pictures, whatever will suit for you. But again, it's really easy to use. And I might be the marketing manager controlling the system for a space. I don't have to be on site. So if it's my day to not be on site, or if I'm working from home that day, or if I can't get into the office, like the current situation, I can still be in control of whatever is shown on the different screens within the system. The whole thing is completely free to use. So again, it's one of them, like Peter said earlier, you can use it if you want, you don't have to use it, but it's there as an option. The last thing that we can show is, Peter, the whiteboard or something for me, is emergency messaging or standard messaging. So what I can actually do from wherever I'm located is I can click on the screens that I want, and I can actually send what we would call an announcement to the screen. So in this case, I'm going to send a big bright red alert system to it, but it could just be things like a minute silence. It could be so-and-so please move their car because you're blocking whatever. It could be anything. But as you can see, I've taken over both of these screens, one 20 miles away, one less than a meter away, to show whatever it is that we need to show. Once that's done, so I've set it for 15 seconds, it will just revert back. And the nice thing is, as you can see, Pete was on the whiteboard, so it will revert back to the whiteboard space. It doesn't have to, it can revert back as it's done here to this, but it doesn't interrupt your session if it was just something like that. So yeah, thank you. Again, like Peter said, if there's any more questions, anything like that, we can arrange remote demonstrations and things like that. So just please let us know, but I will hand you back to Peter to finish now.
Thanks, James. One thing you've probably seen us doing a couple of times when we've been on the template of the digital signage is that when it's on, it's a welcome page, it's an introduction, it's talking about whatever it's talking about. It's talking about NHS information here. If I want to get back into the touch panel, all I do is touch the screen, it disappears. So it's not a case of different things to get it quite simple out of there. So finishing off, I'd like to look at what we've been talking about. One thing we looked at is with the panels, you would buy multiple devices to do what Clevertouch is doing. What we thought is put everything, pack everything. We've thrown the kitchen sink at this thing and said you can do everything on this. So we put this together just to show some of the things that we can do. We can cast wirelessly, we can put digital signage, we've got the Staged UC platform, we've got the mics, we've got all these different things, but it's one single panel on the wall. So it's not lots of cables and big 6-foot racks with content in there. It's really, really simple to use. So what we'd say is to finish off, as I said before a couple of times, we're only really touching on certain things within here. If you want to learn a little bit more and want like a full demonstration on particular parts or the whole thing, we can do that for you. We have demonstration. I'm based in Livingston. We've got a demonstration suite in Livingston. We have one in Leeds. We're just moving to a brand new, larger demo suite down in London, in the centre of London. We can also do demonstrations on site. You don't have to come to us. We can come to you, do demonstrations. And while we can't come to you at this moment in time, we can do online demonstrations. So we can do live. We've been doing this for a few months now. We've been live online demonstrations and doing similar to what you're seeing here within this video. If you'd like a demonstration, you can email us directly at info@clevertouch.com to arrange that. Also, if you're looking for more information of what we are, who we are, what we do, or the products do, you can go to our website, clevertouch.com. And that will give you the ability to actually go in there, download data sheets, but it will show you all the 4 different sizes, the 55, 65, 75 and 86-inch panels that we do. And you can get information from there. So thank you for watching today, and hopefully I'll catch up with you soon for a demo at some point. Thank you. Bye-bye.